In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Imperial Shock Trooper for the Vintage Collection. Now, I think this might only be, maybe the second or third repaint of this particular clone sculpt that we've gotten. Of course, we had the 501st clone, and I don't really count the, actually, you know what, this is at least the maybe fourth repaint if you include the Troop Builder set. But the point being is that there's not too many of them, but hopefully this is the start of a long list of updates to the Clone Legions that we can get. Of course, they could do the 212th. I think this was also be an easy repaint for Mace Windu's Attack Battalion. And of course, there's several others out there they could do as well. Let's just take a look at this card first. Kind of an interesting choice for both the name and the logo that Hasbro picked here. I think a Revenge of the Sith card would have been more fitting, especially with this still being the 20th anniversary year of Revenge of the Sith. And then, of course, that being an Imperial Shock Trooper, this would allude that this is in the Imperial era at this point. But of course, we know that the Clone Wars officially ended pretty much simultaneously when the Empire was established. So just a little bit of inconsistency, I guess. I think it would have been better just to name this as Shock Trooper, and of course the Revenge of the Sith logo instead. But here is an image of the Trooper in the Clone Wars series. Image of the character there. I actually got a whole squad of these guys, but for the purposes of the initial video, I'll just be opening the one for now, and then I'll save the other 11 for a separate video at some point. And of course, I do have some scenes that I plan on setting up for all these guys. I think a lot of people will enjoy it. They put the warning label up here this time. He is VC 374, and for his description, adept with heavy weaponry, Imperial Shock Troopers serve as elite frontline forces and even as bodyguards for the Emperor. Pretty good description. Let's just go ahead and get this guy open. Wow, the red on this guy is very striking. You can tell already it's a lot different compared to the Shock Troopers we got previously. I have them all right here on the side. Bring them out in a moment. But yeah, very striking red there. Of course, the weaponry. Pretty standard accessories. But more often than not, we usually see the Shock Troopers with the carbine here. Which fits well in his hand. See all the details there in the helmet. I think the paint apps turned out pretty good. I know over the years Hasbro has struggled every now and then with getting the paint apps right for these guys. Interestingly enough, the times they usually get it right best are like the antenna mold, the Revenge of the Sith quick draw attack clone did it pretty good as well. I'm thinking of like Commander Thorn from back in 2014. I know they struggled with. And of course, he's just a straight repaint. But it still feels like an entirely new action figure because we don't have too many clone troopers and decos like this. Do like some of the scuffs and scrapes they have in the armor. Particularly on the shoulders there. Have the red belt there. think the thermal detonator is usually red. Well, maybe not. Just looking at the other clones here, and thermal detonator is all white for them too. Of course, the super articulation shoulder has a pretty good range there. Same for the elbow, the wrist. This wrist goes up and down, or in and out. I mean, this one goes up and down. Pretty good range at the torso there. Barbell hips, sole thigh, hinge knee. Of course, the rocker ankle with the hinge as well. Accessories, just standard clone rifles. Pretty much painted the same as all the other ones. So I get all the shock troopers open, I'll probably have some with the regular rifle, and then most of them with the carbine here. Yeah, definitely really like these guys. Go ahead and bring out the rest of them. I think after adding the 12 of these guys, I'll have the definitive shock trooper collection here. So I think they all blend in pretty good so far. I know some people will say, oh, they definitely don't because of the reds not matching, but if I looked at these guys on a shelf from far away, you're not really going to notice the difference. I still think the antenna mold holds up really good. It looks great alongside Commander Thyre there as well. Would be nice to get an update for a realistic Commander Fox. Commander Thorn, I think, would be welcome in TBC line as well. They could just, I know some people say we need an all new action figure at this point, but I would be okay if they just did a better repaint of the 2014 figure. But yeah, really nice. But there's really not a whole lot more I can say about this guy. It's just one of those action figures that I think is going to get better with time. Like I said, I think I'll be making a lot of displays with him here shortly. And I'll save opening the other 11 for another video. But would I recommend him for your collection? I definitely would if you're a fan of clones, especially shock troopers. It's definitely arguably the definitive shock trooper, but of course if budget is concerned for you, I think some of the antenna mold ones, and definitely this Revenge of the Sith one here, they're still fairly affordable and sometimes even less than the TBC action figures these days. It's getting blurred between the aftermarket prices and the standard retail prices for Star Wars action figures these days. It used to be drastically different, but not so much these days. But yeah, definitely a great action figure. Just bring out one of the 501st guys as well. But even though they're the same clone sculpt, like I said, with the paint job, it makes them feel like an entirely new action figure. But hopefully this is a trend Hasbro will be doing every now and then. They'll be going back and updating the clone legions. I think a lot of people appreciate the 212th here next. And of course, Mace Windu's Attack Battalion. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for playing more in the future. There's always more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support, and check out the links in the description if you haven't done so already. And as always, thanks for watching.